just experience the magic that happens. There seem to be some other questions that's coming in. We got another 10 minutes, so we can do that.
If we buy a house, will you come check it out? Kidding.
You know yourself.
Kidding.
You know yourself.
No.
And again, sometimes you will have a south-facing house where you had no problems. Yeah, don't be worried about that.
I live in a south-facing house and you live in a north-facing house.
Yeah. So, yeah. At the end of the day, why all these things are said is be aware of these things. But at the end of all these things, if you do not have bhakti, if you do not have the love, then everything else, whatever you do, is not going to be of any use. You may have followed the best of procedures. You may have followed the best of things that has been recommended. Say even when we offer food and when we make food, but if that same food is not offered with love to our kids or to the spouse or even to ourselves, we reject it. So love is the basic ingredient. Why? Because God is love. There is not, in my personal experience, I have not experienced anything else other than He's just very kind. Despite the impurities that reside in me, He has only showered love. And that's what humbles me. That itna khot hai mere mein, still you're able to love me so much. And that's what engages me back. And then आज can I say आज मेरे में खोट है, आज निकल जाएगा, आज मैं भगवान को मैं pray कर रहा हूँ, from today on my impurities shall go away. I cannot. That it will not go away. But as the divine grace, I saw one magazine as I was walking in, God's Grace. Some magazine is there. God's grace, the divine energies, anugraha, the grace, as long as it is constantly falling through this body, the impurities will automatically get diluted, just like how we saw again three months ago in that salt water. I cannot take the salt out and say from today on I am pure. But the moment I am pouring in the pure water, the saltiness has automatically gone away. So don't worry about, आज से मैं pray कर रहा हूँ, but sometimes we feel guilty, I've got all these negative thoughts, I've got so many other bad habits within me. Don't worry about that. Don't feel guilty. That's why in each of the shlokas that when we chant, there will be never ever a talk of guilt. They'll never talk about it. But once you have engaged and you seek that help, automatically, even whether we realize it or not, we have opened ourselves. So for the people who say, I do not believe, say for example, do not say, I do not believe. Say, I do not know. Because the moment you said, I do not believe, you've put a wall in front of you and you've closed yourself for any other magic to happen within yourself. But if you say, I do not know, you're leaving yourself with the possibility, you're opening yourself with the possibility to embrace something new. If it were to happen, you are opening yourself up. It's okay to say, I do not know. It's fine. Arik?
If you have a lot of, your mind is not at peace, your mind is so much disturbed, you are so much disturbed in your mind, and you are confused about things, you don't know what I'm doing is right or wrong. So should you go to God and ask, okay, give me peace of mind, I'm really so confused, I don't know what I'm, why I cannot sit at peace
Yeah. You can say that, give me the peace of mind. Yeah, give me the peace of mind. And then, we got to go back to the formula that I talked about retrospection and introspection. You got to retrospect your own individual life to see if there have been where you thought was a troubling moment or was a happy moment, whether you go through the ups and downs, and be able to come to a conclusion where you're saying there are no ups and downs in life because my data points of my own life say so. And now my mind says that I'm being troubled, but now I'm going to be watching this with a level of awareness that I am being troubled. In the past, whenever you have been troubled or been happy, there was not a level of awareness. That happens to all of us. But when we become aware that I am being sad, at that moment you have won half the battle. Because at that time, even though you are going through the problems, or you want to cry, or you want to do some things, now you are crying by taking yourself out and you're watching your own self being in that position. And then within a month's time or so, you notice a subtle change in yourself. That is the reason why we are Arjuna. That's the reason why Bhagavan, he immediately came through Bhagavad Gita directly. He could have given things like Veda, difficult to comprehend. Bhagavad Gita is the only set of slokas where he himself came and he delivered it. And for delivery here, he has to have a madhyam. He brought Arjuna. And out of Arjuna, he just shared, he spoke. That's the only set of slokas that where he speaks about the how to lead your life, any problems that we have, or what we got to do. Two things that have been given out of the entire Mahabharata. Two things, only two. Vishnu Sahasranama, where Bhishma talks about the attributes in the presence of Krishna. The second one is where Krishna is being delivered by himself, Krishna, Gita Charya. Those are the only two things. Mahabharata is just a flimsy reason for it to happen. Those are the only two. So, engage with Bhagavan. Do your retrospection. If you do not do retrospection, I can guarantee you this. We talked about Vaastu, we talked about all these things. If you do not do retrospection of your life and introspect and look at the ups and downs of your lives and come to a conclusion that there is no up, there is no down in my life. If you do not do that, everything else is waste. Because that will propel you, guaranteed. Because when Bhagavan talks about in the second chapter, Bhagavad Gita, there are no ups and downs in life, there is no happiness, there is no sadness and things like that. It is that which is what is being recommended that you go do. Once you do that and you're entrenched in it, nothing shall shake you.
And all your desires go away too.
No, desires will. Yeah.
Well,
desires
you
will
know,
go away.
from
Yeah.
they get minimized.
It'll get minimized.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, you still want to eat tasty food.
Correct.
You know.
Exactly. But then those desires again will be with awareness. It's an aware desire
Yeah.
rather than being an unaware desire.
Right.
All this in 6 months you will gain. So in Lakshmi Ashtotram, Om Prakritam Vikritam Vidyam, 108 names, and then at the end there's one shloka where it says Kshanmasam Vijitendriyaha. Kshanmasam is 6 months. Vijitendriyaha, Vijit, victory, Indriyaha, on your senses. It's Lakshmi Ashtotram. People think, I'll go pray to Lakshmi, she'll give me a lot of wealth. But at the end of the shloka, out of the 108 shloka names, it doesn't talk about wealth. It talks about you being victorious on your own individual self. Once you're victorious, and once I know about my indriyas, Vijit Indriyaha, automatically I've gained the wealth. I don't have to worry about it. Material wealth will come in here, today it's there, tomorrow it's gone. But it will be happen.
Yep.
Be a baby, be a child. When you do this, your ego will alter. The alteration of ego will happen from an adult ego to a child ego. You talked about desires. As long as we have ego, desires shall always be there. We can never say, I don't have. If anybody tells you I don't have any ego, they're lying. Everybody has got ego. But it will translate itself from an adult ego to a child ego. Adult ego is very, very harmful. We always want to push somebody else and get ahead in line. We want to be higher than somebody else. Child ego, on the other hand, is not competitive. Child ego is very self-content. Whatever the child does, if you look at a young girl building something, and then suddenly you say, come, I'm going to take you back to your mother, she will not have any sense of possessiveness or anything like that. You've seen how children are carefree. They have the child ego. They still have desires. They have desires to go buy toys, go get their food, get dresses, get dolls, play the games, Wii and all those things. Those desires are childish in nature. So when you make this transformation, you will have desires, but those desires will be supported by the child ego. You'll have the best of cars, best of jobs, best of anything that you're doing in your business. If it's serving humanity, you will have the best of opportunities to do that. Everything will be the best. But at a moment's notice, when you have to go make that modification of your own entire life, you'll modify and you'll go. Why? Because now it's a child ego. And you're not in competition with anybody else, not even your own self. That's the alteration.